continued support us. Make sure you continue to make prayer for us, and we're going to get about this.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, I pop these pills, they try to read my thoughts. And you can't dig back in your past because you got time you lost. Hey, look at G Herbo, man.
All right, y'all. We got G Herbo pulled up to show support.
Hold up. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all, we got G Herbo pulling up for the support, y'all. We got G Herbo. Free little Durk.
Ain't no game, man, y'all. We coming in
Free Durk!
We're at the free Durk trial, y'all. Y'all, we got G Herbo pulled up, show support.
Said he out there, bruh. Yeah, bruh. Free Smirk, bruh. He ain't do whatever they accusing him of, bruh. He had hella support up there, bruh. So that's good. But they say he infidel.
Look, I don't want to hear nothing. Durk just blamed everything on Vonnie. Vonnie is the only one that want to slide for Von. Why? Because that's his best friend. He booked the flights. He did this. He did that. Hey, listen, you dealing with some Chicago slime ball ass niggas. I don't care what y'all talking about. Vonnie was never Durk homie. Guess what? All congregated, came together and said, this is the only way we're going to get Durk home. The only way we're going to get home is we blame it on this outside. He's not a member. He never was a member. This was Von, homie, best friend since they was kids or whatever. He brought him around. Never one of them owned each other loyalty. All this was fake. So guess what the slime ball do? We're going to get Durk home. Okay, let's put it on the weakest link. Let's put it on the Goofy. The Goofy did that. He did this. They're going to try to say, oh, the lawyer's doing that. If you allow your lawyers to blame something, you is the snitch too. Even if you didn't get on the stand, you agreed.
Oh, mamas, bro. You can't infidel through lawyer, bro.
To let your lawyer say that. It's simple as that. I don't want to hear the world saying, oh, Durk not it. Durk told them that Durk agreed with this shit. Trial is going on, and Durk blaming everything on OTF Vonnie. At the end of the day, is he wrong? He ain't wrong. Kim, this is what people do. The streets are dead. This shit is over with. It's been over with. It's either your life or my life. And guess who life I'm going to pick? My life. So a lot of these be doing all that. You a real, you going to go down and da-da-da. These not going down. It's a new day, bro. It's not back in the day. These don't have morals, principles. It's your life or my life. And my life come first, so your life. And that's what Durk just did. That's going to be the only way Durk going to come from this shit. All Ace Boogie, OTF DD, all them set back to, you don't think they were sending kites to each other? They sending kites to each other. Let's have a, we gonna come from under this. Ain't no way to come up from under this shit unless we blame it on the Goofy. And guess what? They blaming it on the Goofy. I told y'all this shit is crazy, but your favorite rapper not as gangster as you think he is. Simple.
You know, they always looking for something tangible, bro. They do say fake it till you make it. He made it. You know what I'm saying? Now the truth come out, bro. Infidelity.
So day 2 of the little Durk trial, and I'm gonna break this down in increments for Instagram, YouTube. Just watch the whole entire thing. When you see me stop, that just is what it is. So you had a cop on the stand that was basically left off where we left off yesterday on his testimony. The ties were granted, so everybody's in there with ties on. And then one crazy note that I noticed, they're not calling Quando Rondo Tyquane Bowman. They're just flat out calling him Quando Rondo. And I think they're doing that shit so that if the jurors do look on the internet and look at Quando Rondo, I think they're trying to push some type of sympathy on him. That's me personally, that's just what I believe. Because why aren't y'all calling him goddamn Quando Rondo? I mean, why aren't y'all calling him Tyquane Bowman at all? But it is what it is. So the cop on the stand left off at the gas station He went for the call logs. He got Jim's IG and Jim's number. He got Jim's location. He had the calls that he had with Vonnie and Jim's phone. They had calls with Didi and Vonnie. They got cell site from cell phones. Asa and Jim flew in together. The cop said Vonnie's number wrong. And then the cop clears up the number for the damn feds again. See, the feds are saying shit like this. Oh, we're letting in exhibit 30, but it was 33. But the cop says, yeah, it was exhibit 30. And then the feds are cleaned up and say exhibit 33. So that's leading already, which means the cop don't really know his shit. He tried to act like a little bit later on, but don't worry, I'm gonna get into that in just a moment. Then you find out that Didi has a big chance of beating the case.
It say exhibit 30. They probably got 1,000 exhibits, bro. This shit's scandalous.
Because he didn't do shit. And one of the things that did get admitted, but I'll let y'all be the judge of that, is Didi basically got a text thread with this girl. I'm not gonna say her name. If the bloggers do it, then they do it. I'm not doing that shit because I don't want her harassed, and I don't want to be a part of no lawsuit for harassment. Got me doing the damn Bootsy shit. Anyway, so Didi get hit up by her. She say, Didi, what you doing? He say, I'm on my way to LA. She say, what's in LA? He say, shit, the guys. She say, why you ain't take me? He say, I ain't know till 2 hours before the flight. And they got that Jason paid for the flights back home and all that. Then we get into the In-N-Out shit, and the In-N-Out shit is kind of crazy. Now, the In-N-Out shit is interesting because the lie about the payments of everybody being paid was never true. And y'all gotta remember, that was in the first superseding indictment. So they said Jam was getting a soda, and it wasn't a soda, it was a damn lemonade. See, when they act like the feds know all, it's these little details that you should be paying attention to, because the cop never crazy say, hey, he wasn't. Some of y'all may think that's irrelevant, but it is relevant because of the truthfulness of everything that happens within what happens next. So basically, Jim is in there with the red Nationals hat on that he had since he came out the freaking the airport with it. They had Keith Jones, who's a shooter, and then the cop says that they were reacting to the news on their phone.
Soda, lemonade. You was at In-N-Out Burger though, right?
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
He said they reacted to a news clip on their phone. That actually never happened because we could see the phone screen. We see Jam's phone, we see Jones' phone, we see Didi keep checking on his phone. It's text messages. Jam all on his phone talking. Jones is texting. You never see them react to the news clip. You can see their freaking phones clear as day. So the cop doesn't correct exhibit 30, but it's exhibit 33, but he's still being led. Then the feds bring up the TMZ video of Quando Rondo.
Beverly and Los Angeles at the mobile.
I know, Baker. I know. What was it at?
Now, here's something that's super crazy, right? Because TMZ video gets used, and then the feds claim that the dude who shot the video worked for TMZ. It's not even confirmed, and we did see dude pop up yesterday in the freaking body cam footage from the cop. This was a random bystander who just flipped out his phone, like looking like a person who just seen the accident.
Hey, I know Quando Rondo, you know, when this first happened, first person popped up in his head was Durk and them, bro. Had to, nigga, like, yeah.
There's some shit happened like that. So he never worked for TMZ, but the feds let the damn cops say that shit. I'll be owning this shit like that, man. But anyways, Didi gonna have an issue because Didi was sitting IG reels from somebody who tagged Quando Rondo, and they was basically like, where y'all pipe was at, gang? Laughing with the smoke emoji, the fire emoji, and the demon emoji, and the exploding head emoji. And Diddy sending this shit to people, and it says risky with hella Y's on it. He sent that to Lil Varney. He sent that to Breezio. He sent that to TTE Wicked Man, and he sent that to Booney Mo. And then when he sent that shit to Booney Mo was like, oh, bro. And then Diddy like exploded head emojis, bro. And that basically was the shit that they had sent as far as the feds do. But then Brian still got his ass up there to cross. So Brian still gets up there and absolutely puts belt to, yeah. Anyways, he say that the cop was on there basically got on August the 30th. The cop say, yeah, Brian still defines what he's supposed to know.
But get this, bro. You run around acting hella tough. All right, you bust a move, knock bro down. It's time to take accountability. Niggas bitching and snitching, bro. Shit, crazy.
The case, and he's supposed to know everything. And do like, yeah. So then the dude says, I'm a task force agent. I turned over all the stuff to the judge, and then the feds picked it up. And then Brian still say, you spoke with Jim. Dude say, yeah. Brian still say, you were there 12 times with Jim. Dude say, yeah. He say, but I didn't ask any questions. Brian still like, but you spoke to him in custody. Dude like, yeah. Brian still like, y'all wrote notes and y'all recorded it 3 times out of the 12 times y'all met. Dude like, I don't know. They were 302 summary. 302 summary is basically that you have somebody that's recording all of this shit as far as writing it all down. There's a reason for that. We get into it in just a moment. Brian still say, well, why did y'all, have a recorder? Dude say, I don't know, there's a 302 summary. And Brian still say, so y'all take what the officer says, and then he say, yeah. And then basically Vonnie talked to him, no. Keith Jones talks to him basically 7 times, and 1 time it's recorded. Then Brian still say, who said no recording? The cop says, the feds. Then Brian still basically say, so Vonnie met with y'all 10 times and no recording? The cop say, yeah. Brian still like, why y'all ain't record? Dude like, I don't know. Brian still say, is recording the best? Dude say this out his mouth. Yeah, he say, tell the jury basically what's the best method. The cops say, record it. So Brian still like, anything said if y'all made a deal against Durk, it wasn't recorded. The damn cop walked right into this shit. He say, we would have recorded it. It wasn't said. Brian still say, but how do we know? Dude gonna say, man, we write it all down. So then Brian still gets into it, and Brian still like, hey man, so y'all told these cats that when you cracked in the feds, bro, you're done. Ain't no, you get life, bro. Ain't no parole, ain't no nothing. It's straight life. Dude like, I didn't say that. It wasn't me. Brian still like, y'all said it was murder for hire, because Brian still is calling these cops teammates. Brian still know what he do. He's slick as goddamn oil spit. And Brian still say, the shooters want to get home at times and they make up stories, don't they? And dude like, yeah. I said, damn, Brian, getting it in right now. Brian still say, y'all need to approve or deny what's actual factual. Like what's actually real has to be approved by y'all. The dude say, yeah. Then Brian still bring up, he like, hey man, so look, man, Durk is basically the big fish. And dude like, he ain't really said nothing. So then Brian still brings up that Jim said he called Lil Durk at 6:44 a.m. at 8:18. Y'all know the day before the killing and all that shit, that Thursday. And Jim like,
Hey, and shout out my nigga Seti once again, bro. Being boots on the ground, bro. You feel me? It's greatly appreciated your efforts. One thing about Sid, bro, he don't be hating on niggas, bro. That's why he blessed.
I was with my son, I was with my kid, I was with my wife, and then, or my baby mama. And then Brian still like, did you research if he dropped his kid off, or did you research if anybody was in there? They was like, man, nah, you ain't letting that in. So the damn, the feds pop up and was like, nah, hell nah, we can't let that in. The cop did, the judge like, nah, that's not getting in, strike that. So then we bring up a document that says May 5th, 2021, and that document is crazy. And the reason that document is crazy is because it's the Astro Sounds contract, but it's been Ola Alabagan saying that's the press manager. That's the president, manager, and the organizer, and it's not signed by Lil Durk. And Brian still brings that up. He's like, there's no proof Lil Durk knew about the MX cards. He didn't sign it or any of that shit. So then Brian still brings up Durk's name was used by Vonnie, but nobody used the cards but Vonnie. So we find out only Vonnie is the one using these freaking cards, bro. So Brian still says it again, says, tell the jury. And he says this shit to the jury because he's not looking at the jury when he's testifying. So it says Jason Smith used the cards to buy fights. And then Brian still says, what text did you see for the fights? Then the cop walks right into this where it says, don't book no flights with my name on it. Brian still says, we'll get to that, but no others. The cop says no. So Brian still says, did you see Vonnie and Smith calls? And then playing phone tag and all this shit. And Brian still like, I mean, the cop like, yeah. Brian still like, William Malcolm was supposed to come and didn't. And they're like, yeah, but Durk never called William Malcolm at all. You don't see any freaking calls between him. Then you see 817, 819, 820, Jim and Durk ain't speak on the phone. And that's important because of what we said earlier about the cop, about Jim saying, bruh, hey man, I talked to Durk the day before I flew out or the day that I flew out. And he just basically walked into that and was like, nah, that actually, I didn't see no calls between that. And then basically the cops say, I know Durk Banks' names was used to buy them flights. And then they bring up exhibit 118 and that's the text. So Brian still brings up the freaking text and the freaking feds is like, nah, you can't bring that in. But Brian's still so crafty that remember, what did the cops say? The cops say, oh, Durk said don't book no flights with my name on it. Oh, shit.
Yeah, because his girl would think he was trying to fly BZ out, bro.
Okay, cool. So then the government like, it's no foundation for that. The judge like, no, your cop said it. So then we find out that Durk was sending some messages to somebody who wasn't responding on 8817, and he say, you still gonna post? They're like, nobody said anything. So then Durk texts, I'm gonna fall back from this. And he said all this shit, and the cop is basically like, I don't know what this means. And Brian still is walking him down because if you don't know what none of these texts mean, but you know what don't book no flights in my name mean, there has to be a reason, right? So then Durk say, we'll flip this real quick. Durk say, I'm gonna just fall back from this shit. And then Durk texts the person blood. And then the cops say, oh, that means blood means homie in Chicago. So then why did y'all name Lil Durk Blood and not everybody else Blood? So then Durk then text, don't book no flights, no names involved with me. And then the cop said, that means because he didn't want to be involved. That's why I said don't book it. And then Brian's still like, so James Smith is employed by Lil Durk. Cop like, yeah. Brian's still like, so he didn't listen? Cop like, nah, the fights was already booked when Durk said that. So then Brian still walks him down again. Brian still said, but you said Friday the fights were booked, right? Dude like, yeah. But then Brian still say, but they was booked again after Durk told him don't book no shit in my name. So if they was already purchased before, why did you book the damn fights?
And that's why they paid what they paid, bro. That's why he get paid the big bucks, bro. Still hit my lap with this. Nigga, shout out Brian Steele, bro. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, we gonna be keeping up with this shit, bro. Y'all niggas let me know what y'all think.
Say ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho. Nigga need that yaper, need it now and not later, ho. Say ho, you can't be playing with that paper, ho.